An 18-year-old boy goes out to a small island with his friends, laughing, full of life, ready to celebrate. 2 days later, only his body comes back. His phone stays behind on the boat. None of his friends can explain why he was left alone on that island. And when the governor of the state is asked about it, all he says is, "I haven't seen any wrongdoing." If you think this is just a simple accident story, stop right there. Because the new facts that have surfaced have shaken the entire state of Mississippi to its core. I'm John ABA, and today we're breaking down every single detail that has come out in the Nolan Wells case, from the very beginning to the latest update. Stick with me until the end, because there's a video and a question in the middle of this story that completely changes everything. Let's get into it. July 4th, the weekend. Independence Day, a day of celebration across America. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18 years old, a resident of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, a wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College, a beloved player on his team, with a future that looked incredibly bright. That day, he takes a boat out to Horn Island with a group of friends. Now, what exactly is Horn Island? It sits roughly 10 miles off Mississippi's Gulf Coast, only reachable by private boat. It's a completely undeveloped, federally protected barrier island, meaning there are no buildings, no residents, barely any cell service, and if something goes wrong, there's no immediate rescue available. In other words, beautiful, but if anything happens out there, help is not close by. The party goes on all day. Sunshine, ocean, friendship, laughter. Then, around 3 p.m., Nolan Wells is seen alive for the last time. Shortly after, his friends' boats head back toward the mainland. But Nolan isn't with them. At around 11 p.m., one of his friends calls his mother, Christine Wansley, to tell her that Nolan never came home. Can you imagine the fear a mother feels in that moment? That same night, Christine posts an appeal on social media and files a missing person report with police. The search continues for 2 full days. Then, on the morning of July 6th, at around 8:45 a.m., a National Park Service ranger finds a body in the water off the island's northwest tip. Dental records confirm it. This was Nolan Wells. A mother who was praying for her son's safe return instead gets his body. But folks, this story doesn't end here. From this point forward, this stops being a tragic accident. It becomes a full-blown mystery. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter himself confirmed that Nolan went to the island by boat with his friends, but his friends left him there and returned to the mainland without him. According to Sheriff Ledbetter, from the people we've talked to, it sounds like he chose to stay there, with the assumption that he'd get a ride back with someone else. Okay, fine. Let's say Nolan really did choose to stay behind on his own. But one question still hangs in the air. Why was his phone left on the boat? Think about it, an 18-year-old kid, alone on a remote island with no cell service, and he doesn't even have his phone with him for communication. His family says this is their biggest red flag. A friend, Trace's Tin Shepherd, told ABC News in an interview that the entire friend group had been drinking since the morning. This was their one last hurrah before the holiday weekend ended and everyone went back to school or work. According to Shepherd, Nolan stayed behind because he'd met a young woman on the island, while the rest of the group took the boat back to shore. Sounds simple enough, right? But then another detail surfaces, one that throws the whole story back into question. A video surfaces, and in the background, you can hear what sounds like arguing and shouting. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office has publicly asked for anyone with original, unedited photos or videos from the island's northwest tip to come forward, especially anything showing an altercation or disturbance. Investigators are actively trying to identify whoever originally posted that video. Now stop and think about this for a second. If everything really was as simple as Nolan choosing to stay behind and later drowning by accident, where did this argument come from? Was it just normal party noise? Or did something happen out there that we still don't know about? This is exactly the gap where the family, their attorney, and much of the online community are demanding answers. Nolan's family has flatly refused to accept this death as a simple, accidental drowning. They've hired one of America's most prominent civil rights attorneys, Ben Crump. This is the same lawyer who has represented families in numerous high-profile cases involving police conduct and the justice system. Crump's team also commissioned an independent autopsy, so the family wouldn't have to rely solely on the state's findings. On Wednesday, July 15th, Nolan's parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, met with Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers-McElrath in Pascagoula. After the meeting, at a press conference, Crump announced that the DA confirmed once the investigation is complete, the case will be presented to a grand jury, which will determine whether any criminal wrongdoing occurred and whether anyone should be indicted. This is standard procedure for any suspicious or non-natural death in Jackson County. Crump made a powerful statement. A thorough investigation must be completed, and the district attorney must put every relevant fact before the grand jury. Nothing held back. Nothing overlooked. One more important detail, Crump's team is also running its own independent investigation into Nolan's phone, while law enforcement is separately reviewing the phone's data as well. Both the state and independent autopsies have already been completed, but the cause of death and toxicology results have not been officially released yet. A spokesperson for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety said, "Every case is unique and deserves a thorough review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or on the same timeline." In other words, authorities are clearly not rushing this. And for the family and their supporters, that delay is deeply frustrating. Crump himself has said his legal team will likely share preliminary findings after Nolan's funeral. So this news could break at literally any moment. If you're watching this video, drop a comment. What do you think the toxicology report is going to reveal? Nolan Wells' funeral will be held on Monday, July 20th, at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs. Visitation will run from 9 to 11 a.m., with the service immediately following. In a touching and unexpected detail, Hollywood actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry personally covered all of the funeral expenses. A quiet but powerful gesture of support for the family. After the funeral, Christine Wansley will host a repast, a gathering, at the Jackson County Fairgrounds, bringing together family, close friends, and Nolan's football teammates. Christine said, through tears, he wouldn't want us sitting around crying and eating. She also asked the community if people plan to march or demonstrate to keep it peaceful because that's exactly what her son would have wanted. Now let's talk about the statement that caused an uproar across the entire state. When Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves was asked about the case at a press conference, he said he doesn't know all the details, but that he hasn't yet seen any fact or piece of evidence pointing to foul play, meaning criminal wrongdoing. He also said that if anything like that did happen, he's confident the sheriff's office, the DA's office, and the Department of Public Safety would find it and take the necessary action. The governor also confirmed that he personally knows Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter well, though he noted he hadn't personally discussed this specific case with him. This is where two camps have formed. On one side, people say the governor's statement was perfectly normal. He was simply expressing confidence in the system, and there's nothing wrong with that. On the other side, people feel that saying "I haven't seen foul play" before the autopsy and toxicology results are even public is premature, and that it risks eroding public trust in the system, especially in a case this high-profile and emotionally charged. Which side are you on? Drop it in the comments. Was the governor's statement fair? Fair reporting means we shouldn't show only one side. An opinion piece from Super Talk Mississippi argues that Nolan Wells' tragedy has been seized upon by what it calls ambulance chasers, people who, in the writer's view, stir up such tragedies for personal or financial gain in ways that go beyond what's warranted. It's a reminder that until the official findings, cause of death, toxicology, and the grand jury's decision are actually released, treating any theory as 100% confirmed fact can be risky. It's important to keep speculation and confirmed facts clearly separated, no matter how strong the emotions running through this case may be. Let's break down the legal side of this, because if the investigation finds the boat operator was negligent in some way, there could be serious legal consequences. Maritime law is a specialized legal system that governs issues occurring at sea and on the water. Every boat operator carries a legal responsibility known as duty of care, meaning the operator is obligated to keep crew and passengers safe at all times and to maintain a seaworthy, safe vessel. Here's an important legal point. Anyone who travels with you on a boat you're operating is legally considered your passenger, and the operator remains responsible for that person's safety throughout the trip. This means that even if Nolan chose to stay behind, it could still be argued that he was a passenger on the boat trip that departed Horn Island, and the fact that his phone was left behind makes the operator's responsibility even more complicated. If it's proven that the operator knowingly left Nolan without a phone or any means of communication, that could be considered negligence, and in cases involving loss of life, that kind of negligence can lead to charges like involuntary manslaughter or reckless endangerment. Alcohol is also a significant factor in this case. If the boat operator himself was drinking, which hasn't been confirmed, he could face a BUI, boating under the influence, charge. Mississippi's legal drinking age is 21, while Nolan was only 18. And if the toxicology report confirms that Nolan himself was intoxicated at the time of his death, that could further complicate the operator's liability, since alcohol directly affects judgment and reaction time on both sides. According to newly released records, there were around 7 people on the boat that day, a detail the operator himself mentioned during a phone call, audio of which has since been released publicly. The boat's vessel number indicates it was a 2000 model Triton, which comes in various sizes depending on configuration. If it's proven that the boat exceeded its allowed passenger capacity, that could create, and the biggest twist in this case is still ahead, the toxicology report. As soon as it's released, the entire direction of this story could change completely. If Nolan wasn't intoxicated, and if something was done to him against his will, this case will head straight to the grand jury and criminal charges could potentially follow. But if the findings turn out to be simple, an accidental drowning, no foul play involved, questions will still remain. Why was the phone left behind? And what was that argument video really capturing? The family has only one demand: the truth. Christine Wansley put it simply, "This case has become more than just one family's private tragedy. It's turned into a national conversation about how the justice system handles cases like this, especially when the victim is a Black teenager and the circumstances surrounding his death are this suspicious." Nolan Wells' friends left him behind. His phone stayed with them. And 2 days later, he never came home. We promise you, as soon as any new update comes in, whether it's the autopsy report, the grand jury's decision, or a new video or statement, you will hear it here first. So if this video gave you value, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on that bell notification so you never miss an update on this case. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think really happened on Horn Island that day? And what's your honest reaction to the governor saying he hasn't seen any signs of foul play? I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves.